So whenever we're talking about level 1, we're talking about CPTs, and whenever we're talking about level 2, pick picks. Then diagnostic codes, you're gonna do it later. ICD-10 TM, International Classification of Disease, temporal vision, and CM stands for clinical modifications. The only individuals that use it is the US. Everybody else uses the ICD-10. Why do we use the codes? The best way to understand is that computers are the ones that are gonna do the understanding of the information, and that information is through numbers. So so far, the computers use binary code, zeros and ones, to go over all the information that we send. So if we can make it into a thing that a computer can understand, then it should work. So now what we're doing is making one code and one description be together. So if I attach a description to a code, then that description should be the one that we use. If we do something different from that description, then that code is not the one that we could use. So just remember, CPT is being developed and maintained by the American Medical Association. It started in 1966. It's updated every November, and by January, it's implemented for use. So that means that every year, you're gonna have changes to it. How many changes? It depends. What changes? Deletions, resequence of numbers, or basically recycling numbers or codes, different descriptions, and view a few examples. And they're divided into those three category 1, 2, and 3. 1, it's the ones that we use normally for procedures, and then 2 and 3 for specific situations, like tracking performance and for things that are new. So the examples of the codes are gonna be medical, surgical, diagnostic, for anesthetics, etc. Medicine is the big one. Uh, Evaluation and management, all those things. And category 2 and 3, like I was saying, 2 is for performance measuring to see how people are doing, and then 3 is for emerging technology. So if something comes new, we're gonna keep it there to see how it works. If we're gonna keep it, it goes to the category 1 or to the main book, and if not, then we So this is a little section that I like to talk about. You have to be effective in coding. Like it means effective. It means you need to transmit or communicate the information properly. And the idea that you need to be is efficient. Efficiency is not only sending the information, getting that communication, but doing it fast, or at least in the least amount of time with the least amount of effort. So you are effective because you do it. You are efficient if you do it fast and correct. So it's really important that we do that because most of the time when we talk about this, we talk about that you guys are going to deal with the patients without dealing with the patients. So um, many of the things that you do are you're gonna do it after the fact. Like for example, you're coding for things that are done already for reimbursement. That's more than 90% of the time of what you're gonna do. But you're gonna be part of that communication and those codes before the things are done. For example, for authorization, for pre-authorization from the provider, uh, from a specialist, from a surgeon, from like all those individuals are gonna use that in order to send it to the insurance companies to uh, to get paid at the end. So it's really important that you remember that while you are not touching the patient per se, you are affecting what happens to them. If you don't send the information on time, then the patient might not get the surgery on time. Uh, Stuff like that, I've seen it many times. How just a mistake on the administrative section uh, causes problems to the patient, or at least to the treatment of the patient, and you know, make sure that you do it properly. The second, after the patient, the second thing that's more important for the effectiveness and the efficiency is that if you do it properly, you get paid. So we are in the business of reimbursement for medical procedures that were done or procedures that were rendered. So we need to make sure that we are effective and efficient while doing that. Many of the things that we do affect reimbursement, and it affects it in two ways: either you get paid or you don't. And it's not only you; it's the practice or the hospital, or the clinic, or the doctor. And if they don't get paid, you don't get paid. Like nobody gets paid. It's not like that, but if you're not getting paid and you are the biller, if your practice is not getting paid, then yeah, they're gonna get somebody else. So just remember that you have to be effective and efficient, because we need that cash flow running all the time. We need to have the providers get paid, uh, constantly in order to pay for the other things like rent, uh, and the salary for the individuals and the supplies for the patients, all those things. So really important that you know that those two words, effectiveness and efficiency. Effective to get it done, efficiency to get it done fast without spending a lot of money or effort into it. So just do it correct, do it right on the first go. So um, one of the um, ways that you need to remember is that every single thing is like specific here. If you did something, if you did it to a specific level, there has a specific code for it. So it's not close enough. It has to be specific. So that's something that we need to kind of think about. This is the perfect example of a code that is gonna, uh, you know, send you guys crazy. So this is an example of something on the really high end, complicated code, CPT code that you need to look for. So the question could be this one. This is what was done: a renal endoscopy through an nephrostomy or episiotomy, with or without irrigation, installation, or and then you keep going. And this is the whole thing. So I'm gonna show you today how to go look for it in the book. So like always, I like to um, not scare you. Try to make it simple. And the way that I do it is by doing something like this. And you've seen me do this many times for many different questions. I go like, uh, let's eliminate all of that. Okay. And then let's focus on the first two words or the most important words at the beginning of the question. Okay. And it says renal endoscopy. So one of the things why I do this, because I want you to think about what are the two main terms. So when we're doing CPT codes, we're gonna do two things. What is what is being done? In this case, we're doing an endoscopy, and then where, for example. Okay. So whenever we're doing things like this, I want you to think about the the words that you're looking for. So you can go on the index and look for renal, for example, or you could look for endoscopy, and then under endoscopy look for renal. So that's kind of how I want you to address it. Then then you clear the whole thing, and you go like, okay, now this endoscopy has to be through this or this, and you start looking for this different words. Okay. And again, this is a lot, but this is an example of simple code. So let me do it real quick. Look for the code, and the description of the code should match whatever you're looking for. So 50. And again, you don't need to memorize how the book works. I mean, how all the things are, just only how it works. You should know that all of those are gonna be in numeric order. So you go, and basically it starts in the urinary system. One of the sections is endoscopy, and then that's kind of what we're looking for. So we get it here at the end, and it's endoscopy, and it's a renal endoscopy through, and all the words are there through an established nephrostomy, vielostomy, with or without irrigation, installation, the whole thing is there. Okay, and then at the end it says with stent. This is what I'm looking for. At the end, it has a stent. So that whole thing is there. So the way you're gonna look for it, you're gonna go through the index, and you're gonna go to renal, and then on the renal, you're gonna look for endoscopy, and that's gonna take you to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like around 10 codes. And from those 10 codes, you can decide which one it is. But it's simple enough, but you need to know how to navigate through uh, through the through the book. Okay, so it's not super complicated. It's just that you have to know what you're looking for. Yes or no? Maybe it will make sense when we start.
Not really.
Not really. Okay. So
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, I understand you said the renal and the endoscopy, but then afterwards, how would we know for those 10 codes which one is, would be the correct one?
so that's what I'm saying. So you have to. It's like looking for a word in the dictionary. Okay. You go to the letter, you get to the close, and you decide. How are you gonna decide what it is? Is by looking and following uh, the the main terms. So you said it in a simple way. So well, I'll just go to endoscopy and whatever it is, right? So uh, so well, you could do that. You could go to endoscopy, so kidney endoscopy, and it will tell you the codes that you have there. Like it will make it into a few codes. So I'm gonna show you this one. We're gonna come back to this one. We have a bunch of them to practice, but like you said, why or how to get through all of this? Well, the first thing is to make sure that you go like this is what you're looking for. Okay, we're not looking for a bunch of other things. We're just looking for what is the renal endoscopy. So you can make it as simple as you can. So let's not scare you with this one. I'm gonna get a few of the simplest one, and then we're gonna go there. So, but again, this is one of the most complicated ones that we have. One of the most complicated ones that we have, uh, and and you should be able to get it because it's not like again. I'm gonna show you three different ways to do it, and you should be able to do it properly. So let me check real quick and see if it's not. Like always. Okay, I have Christian, I have friend. So whenever you see something like that, I want you to not be scared. Just think, okay, how do I make it into something manageable? What are the words that I have to look in the index in order to get to what I need to get to? So the easiest way is just follow every single word. Okay. So whatever word you have there, you need to make sure that you get it, that it's there. So if you get renal endoscopy only, you go renal endoscopy through what, and the first one has like all of this, and then it tells you with this, and at the end says stent, and you have to make sure that every single word that you have there is included. Okay, no problem. So yeah, that's again, this is scary. I understand, but this is the on the upper end of complicated. You'll see that we have some that are a lot easier. Okay, so what are the codes used for? Well, they're used for to tell third parties, and remember, those third parties are gonna be the insurance companies. So to tell the insurance company who's going to pay about what services and procedures were provided. And again, 90% of the time is used for payment. So you use it to, hey, we did this, I want to get paid. Now, what's the problem? That if you do it incorrectly, then bad things are gonna happen. And what is a bad thing that's gonna happen? One of the bad things that can happen is that you do not get payment. You could get underpayment. So if you get underpayment, it's bad because you were supposed to get more, but still it's a billing error. So you basically still get it's a problem. Overpayments are also wrong because it could be a fine line to someone thinking that you're doing something illegal and getting more money than what you're supposed to. It's abuse. So if you're getting overpayments, someone might consider that that's abuse and then investigate. If you get paid less or not paid at all, decrease cash flow for the office. And then the last one is a liability. So if you do something incorrectly and for whatever reason goes to court, then what's supposed to be there is what's supposed to be there, not anything else. I always give you the simple example of the 99, 213, 99, 214. Okay. Let's say you did a 99, 213. That's what you did. Well, this one pays $250 and this one pays $350. And you say, well, you know what? I'm not gonna submit a 99213. I'm gonna submit a 99214 because it pays more. Okay. Well, the problem is that you did not do that. You did not. The 99213 was the one that was done. That's the one that you should submit. Because if something happens, or even if nothing happens, you might not get payment. You are not going to be able to submit the other one. And again, they could say, hey, you are upcoding. You're coding more than what you're supposed to get more money. And that is the definition of abuse. So it becomes a problem. Or whenever you do a surgery, you're coding for a surgery and you're coding for something that was not in the operative report. It looks like you're lying about it. That's not abuse. That is fraud.
I can't hear you. I don't know if it's my computer or yours.
Anybody else having problems hearing me?
Well, I can hear.
I can hear.
Okay. So let's try. So I can try. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what else. You can start the video. Maybe if I start the video, it helps a little bit. Kamika, can you tell us if you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Like a lot better or just slightly better?
A lot better.
I'm gonna put the camera again and you're gonna let me know if that changes anything. What about now?
I can still hear you.
Okay. So I don't know if you are, well, at least around here. I mean, it's raining. I don't see if rain changes anything. But anyway, again, if you don't, let us know again. So liability is important because you are responsible. So if the doctor does something wrong, they kill someone because they did something wrong, you are not responsible for that. If the medical assistant, if the nurse, if anyone does something horribly wrong, you are not responsible for it. But if there's a billing problem, you are responsible for it. Of course, your employer is going to be responsible too, but mainly is you because you are the biller and coder. So, try not to do anything funky. Try to always do what you're supposed to do, and again, you will not be held liable for it. So who uses codes? And this is an interesting question. Everyone, clinics, hospitals, rehab, ambulance, long-term care, ER, doctor's offices, anyone that provides a service. So anyone that provides healthcare, and I'm gonna put it here, and can bill for it. Okay, if you can bill for a service that you provided, you are in need of codes. Who, I think we asked already, but who might not require codes? Who might not require to use any type of codes? What specialty would not require to use codes? Anyone wants to try that one? Well, let's try this. Cosmetic surgery. If I have elective cosmetic surgery, insurance companies are not going to pay for that. So, a plastic surgeon might not use codes ever, give or take, because they might do like some reconstructive surgery or anything like that. But if they only do elective cosmetic surgery, no insurance pays for that. Now, can insurance pay for cosmetic surgery if it's medically necessary? Yes. And like that, the question for anything, would the insurance company pay for something that is medically necessary? Yes. If they deem that it's medically necessary, yes, they will pay for it. So an example that comes to mind is a breast reduction. So a female might require breast reduction because they have problems with back pain or something like that, right? If you can prove it, then it will be sorry about that. We lost you. Yep. I lost you guys too. And can you hear me now?
Yes.
So there was my I clicked the mute everyone. I muted me. I don't know why. Okay. So if you are a provider, and if you are anyone that makes any type of service and gets paid for that, then you will need it. If it's medically necessary, it will get paid. If it's not medically necessary, simple, it won't. So just think about it like this: there's almost no escaping the codes. There's no escaping the reimbursement, the billing, the CPT, the ICD, the CMS 1500. So this is why you guys are here. There's no escaping healthcare. I think I asked you at the beginning of class, do you think this is going away? Do you think healthcare is going away? It's not. If anything, healthcare is being something that will hopefully will be keep doing it until we kill each other, because it will. It is going to continue. So here's your friend, the CMS 1500 form. I did I send you guys the CMS 1500 form examples? I don't know if I did. If not, I think I did. I haven't. Have I sent you guys the CMS 1500 examples for you to complete?
No.
No. Okay, so I have them. Okay, we didn't have class on. I'm thinking this is a second day. Okay, so I will send you. At the end of the class, I'll send you two examples to complete the CMS 1500 form and the actual CMS 1500 form. So this is the way that we're gonna do outpatient. Outpatient is the CMS 1500 form, and you guys are gonna get familiar with this. You need to know for the exam what are the blocks. Again, not super specific, but just know more or less where the blocks are, what do they mean. Just to give you another rundown, the first section is for that. Look right there. The first section is for what insurance the patient has, just that first line. Then after that, everything is on the patient, okay? Including what insurances the patient has. So all of this is patient and insurance. Then we're gonna go over to what the patient has, ICD and stuff like that. And at the end, we're gonna go to what the patient got when, where, what modifiers, by who, and how much. And then at the end, information on the providers. So that's how we kind of divide it. You need to memorize a few of them. You could, but just know them in chunks. So um, the section that we are going to use for the CPT codes is this little section here, and then modifiers here. So that's it. Out of all this 33 blocks that we are only going to put CPT codes in 24D. Okay, so in 24D, line 1, CPT code, 24D, line 2, CPT code, and then modifiers if they require modifiers. So that's about it. That's all of this coding thing that we're doing only for that little section there. Okay. When we talk about the ICD, it's for this section here. So those two little sections there, 21 and 24D, is for codes. Everything else is information on patient, on insurance, stuff like that. So, but those are really important because number one, they have to match, and number two, the thing that follows 24D is 24F, and this is how much money, what are the charges. So that's the most important part of the reimbursement is how much are you charging for all those things that you just did. So everything is important, but if you think about it as only reimbursement, the important part is how much are we paying. So this is a little section on how the format is, how the things are. So CPT has a specific format. The format is 5 digits numeric. So all the CPTs are gonna be numeric. All the CPT level 1 are gonna be numeric. All the CPT, I'm gonna say it until I cannot hear it again. All the CPT are gonna be numeric. They do not have the letters. When we go to category 2, 3, and when we go to the HCPCS, they have letters, but they have letters in specific places, so you will be able to identify them. But when you see a code that looks like this, you should know that that is a CPT code, okay? It cannot be anything else, only a CPT level 1 code. And those are the ones that you probably are gonna be more familiar with. Those are the ones they're gonna ask you in the exam. Those are the ones that you need to know. So the other thing is that most of those codes will have symbols before them. I'm going to show you some examples now. And the symbols, you can find them at the in your book. So you can find them in your books, and it's going to be in the first page of the book. So not on the first page, on the cover of the book. So whenever you open your book, immediately you're gonna pass that first page, and in that first page, on the cover of it, you're gonna have the symbols. Symbols is the first thing that you have there. You have the symbols, you have the modifiers, and the two types of modifiers. So the first thing that you have is the symbols, and then the symbols are specific and it will tell you what they are. So we already went over all of them one by one. So I'm just gonna do a few here and then show you how to get them the day of the exam. So triangle changes or modifications to the code description. This is an example. So they either added something to the code or just changed the code. Lightning bolt is pending the FDA approval. So a little bolt is pending FDA approval. So remember, a lot of things are gonna have lightning bolts if they are new. So remember, in the exam, they might ask you something like this. Okay, so they show you something like this. It's a bullet. Okay, what does the bullet mean? So you know that the bullet is a symbol that is going to be before a code. Again, here is 3xxxx. These x's are just an example. That's not an actual code. There's no code with 3 and 4 x's. It's only numbers. So this is a better example, the one on the bottom. So, but let's say that's 31112 whatever. Okay, so that number is a code, but that symbol before it is the one that is going to tell you that this is a revised code, okay, or a new code. In this case, it's a new code. If it was a triangle, it's a revised code. It's a new code. So this is a new code that started this year, and this is the important part. This code started this year. So if it's something that you use or something that it's familiar to what you use, you need to take into account if you have to use that one instead of the one that you were using before, for example. Okay. The pound symbol or the number symbol here is a resequence code. So whenever we have things, why is this? Whenever we have a code like this one is 27049. It's an example. Radical resection of a tumor, and then it tells you what could it be, and then it says 5 centimeters. Okay, so less than 5 centimeters. If it's more than 5 centimeters, the way this works is that it should be 27050. Okay, but for whatever reason, 27050 is not available, so we have to use 27059. So what we're saying is that that code is out of sequence, and is out of sequence because there's some things in between. So if you think about it, we only have the codes. So it's not like that, but the code started with 00000. So 5-digit zeros, and then 99999. It's not exactly like that, but close. So if you think about it, it has only a finite amount of numbers that we could use. So there's no extra numbers. Okay, so we use most of them. So whenever we need to add a number, it has to take some other number that we use already, or whenever we delete a number, a code, then we might delete the code but just reuse the number, and then becomes a new code or a resequence code. So that's kind of how those work. But again, what is the only thing that matters for you guys? In the exam, they will ask you straight up, what is a bullet? What is a pound symbol? What is a triangle? Okay? And the only thing that you need to do is go get your book, right? Open your book. I'm gonna be as specific as I can be. You take your book, you open that first page, and that cover, in that hardcover, the first thing that you see is gonna be the symbols. Okay? You don't need to interpret them. They will probably ask you one or two, just what do they mean? Okay? And the only thing that you need to know is know where they are, so you can actually go over them. Simple enough. For the people that were saying this is complicated. Simple. Yes. No. Maybe.
So,
Maybe.
if they say what does the triangle mean?
There you go. What do you do?
So you get the book.
You get the book.
I have to look at my book.
You get your book, and You flip the cover, and behind the cover, there's gonna be a table with all of the symbols and all of the modifiers. So you go for 2 questions in the exam. You go like, oh, okay, a little star. Okay, the
Is it the
star.
CPT book?
The CPT book. Yes, yes, yes. The CPT book. And that's it. There's, is it 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, 15 symbols there. That's it. Simple. Interpretation, none. What is it? That's what they're gonna ask you.
Oh, I see it now. The
There you go.
triangle
That's it.
is the revised code. The
Yep,
circle.
that's it.
Okay.
So what I want you is to know where they are. So whenever they ask you, you go. For example, let's click here, and then the next one says the 2 arrows facing each other. Okay, what is that?
That one is new or revised text.
Text. So the text is either new, if it's completely new, or revised. So let me give you an example. In this one says pacemaker, and then under the 2 arrows you have the words pacing cardioverter. So you go like, okay, so that means that in the previous book, pacemaker, it only said pacemaker or defibrillator. In this one, we added whatever is inside the little arrows. So now it's pacemaker or pacing cardioverter or defibrillator. Okay. So as you go through the text, they added the word R here. They added here where it says or underneath the abdominal muscle just below the rib cage. And then they added this where it says they may be placed. So if you see, they just added a few things. Now, does that matter to you? Well, for the exam, you need to know what it means. And for you, it means that if you're using that code and they revise the text, you need to make sure that the text still matches what you're doing, what you're using it for. Simple.
Yeah.
Ish. No, this is simple. This part is simple. Okay. Next one, add-on codes. Add-on codes are the ones that are gonna have a little plus sign before the number. Okay. So what does it mean? It means that this code here, 11000, it's a primary code. You could be used as a primary code, and it's the debridement of infected skin up to 10%. So up to 10% of body surface. Okay. Now, what happens if it's more than 10%? Well, if it's more than 10%, the next 10% will require an add-on code, and that add-on code is 11001. So if I have a patient that we did the debridement of the extensive eczematous infected skin, and we did 8% of body surface, the code that we're gonna use is 11000. 8%. Okay, for the first 10%, we use the first one. Now, let's say instead of 8, now is 18. Okay, so for the first 10%, we're gonna use 11000, and then we're gonna use another code, and the other code is gonna be 11001 for the remainder 8%. If we have 38, then we will use first 10 00, then we'll have the add-on codes 1 for 20, another one for 30, and another one for that extra 8. And this is important because if you do not use it correctly, the other option that you have is to put the same code 110000 many times. And if you put that same code many times on the same date, because this is done in the same date, the uh, the insurance company is gonna say, okay, that's a duplicate, and they're gonna deny all of them. So they're telling you if you do something, and usually this is when we talk about percentage or body surface area. So the more you do, the more you should get paid, right? So if you do something 10%, let's say pays $100. If you do 20%, it should pay $200. But the way that this book decides to do it is through add-on codes, because you should never have the same code twice. If you have the same code twice, the insurance company is going to see it as duplicate, and they are going to deny it immediately. There's no way that we did 2 office visits on the same date. Nope. There's no way that we could do that. But the procedure is not multiple. If it was a multiple procedure, we could use some modifiers for it. This is just a procedure that is larger than the original one. So that's kind of how I want to explain it. Now, in the exam, I think I said it last time. If not, I'm gonna repeat it. Or if not, if I said it, I'm gonna repeat it. If I didn't, I'm gonna say it for the first time. The exam is not gonna go, for example, they're not gonna tell you, okay, so this patient had 11%. They're not gonna tell you this patient had 19%. Okay, they're gonna make sure that it's not in the limits. Okay, because 11% is 10 plus that 1, so you have to use both codes. 19 is the same thing, it's 10 and then 9%, so it has to be both codes. The exam, they will say something like 15, like right in the middle. Okay, so they will not go to the extremes. So it's for you to know, do you use 1, do you use 2? A thing that you cannot do is that if you select if you look through a book and this is the code that you're going to use, and you say this is the code 11001, and it has a plus sign there, you cannot use that code by itself. You have to use it, and here's a note that says you have to use that code in combination or conjunction with the other code. So that's something that you need to remember all the time. You see a plus sign, you cannot use that code by itself. Go to the note and see what is the actual code that you have to put first, and then you might need that code or something else added to. But if it's not there, then that's it. You don't need it. But if it has a plus sign, you will require a primary code, is what it's called. And that's exactly what I was saying. So never use the add-on code alone. So if you have a code that says plus before it, you cannot use it alone. There's no reduction for multiple services. So when you do some services multiple times, there's a reduction on price. Okay, so I will pay you less if you have to do, again, this is a bad example, but if we do a C-section and we take out 1 baby, and then we have someone that has a C-section, and then we take out 2 babies, those were not 2 C-sections. That was 1 C-section that we pull out 2 babies. So if I code for 2 C-sections because there were 2 babies, that's wrong. We didn't do 2 C-sections. We did 1 C-section, but we pull out 2 babies. Now, what is harder to do? To do a C-section and pull 1 baby, or do a C-section and pull out 2 babies? Well, the one that has 2 babies. Now, is it the same as doing 2 separate C-sections, or is just a more difficult C-section? Well, we could say that it's a more difficult one. So in add-on codes, it's not like two things are happening kind of at the same time. No, one is happening and the other one is double, or the other one is 10% more, or the other one. So we're actually doing two things. So it will be like doing two separate procedures, but we do it on the same day. So because we cannot put the procedure twice or a duplicate procedure, then we just use the add-on code, and there's no reduction. They will pay it just like if you did it two times. Maybe? No?
Can you
Any
show us an example when you had
Yes,
an
yeah, it
add-on
will be
code? Because
Okay,
it's
better.
gonna be later.
perfect. So I have an example. If I do an X-ray on one knee, let's say it pays $100. Okay, but then I do an X-ray on, let's say, the left or the right. I do it on the other one, and you might say, well, that pays $100 too, one the left, one on the right. But because we did them kind of at the same time, there's the setup. The setup is kind of the same. They're gonna have, instead of a no reduction, they're gonna have a reduction for multiple services. So basically, the first one will be $100, and the second one will be like 75. Okay, we're gonna remove $25 because it was done in the same way. So it's basically one procedure and change. But let's say I have to do surgery. Uh, to have to let's say I had to do let's make it sutures. I had to suture one of the knees, and I had to put 10 sutures in one knee and 10 sutures in the other one. Well, those are two different lesions or two different openings, but they are two completely uh, duplicate procedures. So we're not using the same anesthesia, we're not using the same procedure. It happens that two procedures are happening at the same time. So when two things are happening that are exactly the same happening at the same time, you add them, and that's why we call it add-on procedure. When procedures are happening at the same time and the setup is just one time, we have a reduction for multiple services. So you break one arm and then you break both arms. I apply a cast in one, and then I apply a cast in the other one. Are those two cast applications, or just with one I could make two? Like in the OBGYN. So we open, do a C-section, take one baby out. Do we have to open again to get the second one? No. Do we need that the whole surgery to happen again? No. So doing the same procedure, we take the second baby out, but again, that pays a little bit more because it's more complicated. But they're not completely two separate procedures. If they are completely two separate procedures or twice of the procedure, then we use add-on codes for that. Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
I think I got one more. I think I have one more. So you take your car to the mechanic. Let's get out of healthcare real quick. You take your car to the mechanic, and they they they're going to fix your brakes. Okay, so they take your car, they put on the thing, on the hoist, it goes all the way up, and then change the rear left brake pads. While the car is in the air, they go and fix the left, whatever, the other side. That will count as two different things, right? But the taking the car, putting it up is part of the procedure. So they took the car, put it up, fixed one wheel, and then with the car up, went to the other wheel and fixed it. Okay, so the procedure, there are two separate procedures in two parts of the car, but based on one time of service. So you should pay again, and this is what mechanics do. They go like, oh, do you want one side done and you want both? I mean, it will be cheaper if you do both today than if you come do one today and then do the other one tomorrow. And you might, but why is that? Because if you fix one of the wheels today, they have to take your car, put it up, fix it, put it down, you go on your way. The next day, they have to do the same thing again, put it up and fix the other side and then put it down. If I just put it up and fix both of them, then I can give you a discount because I'm doing it all at once. So that's kind of what we're saying. If you do multiple procedures, usually it's a reduction because the time and the effort is not twice. When we use add-on codes is because what we're doing is considered to be double and there's no reduction for it. Maybe?
Yes, are you able to practice later, like how to, do the add-on code?
Yeah. We'll do that. Yeah, of course. And there's gonna be an appendix for all the add-on codes. Your book has it in a weird way, so if you wanna go through your book, the appendix D is all the way at the end. So this book is in quote unquote numeric order. So CPT codes first, but we start with the evaluation and management codes. Then we go with the codes in order, and then so we start with the 99 codes. Then we go with the anesthesia, that is the 00s. We go all the way to the 99s, and at the end, then you will have the category 2, category 3, and then the appendix. The last part of your book, the last pages of your book, is going to be the index. So that's kind of how the book is fixed. So let me.
Is that the CPT book?
That is a CPT book. Yes, ma'am.
The gold one?
Yep. So at the end of the book, you have all the index, and before the index, you have all the appendix.
So the first page is where all the symbols are, the first part of the page.
Correct.
And then you see all the way in the back, you have the appendix.
Appendix A, B, C, all the way to like. This book has all the way to T. So appendix A, B, C, all the way to T at the end. And after that, you have the index, the last part of the book. So if you have a circle with a line across, it means that you cannot use modifier 51. It's exempt of modifier 51. So if I ask you what is the circle with a line across, what is the symbol? What should you do? Open your book, go to that first, to the back of that page, on the symbols, and look for the
exemption to modifier 51.
Modifier 51. You see how long did that took you to take?
I hope when in a test everything comes this way.
But this is what I'm saying. When you are in the exam, that's how fast you can answer those type of questions. Simple. Open, get it, move to the next question. Less than 10 seconds. You can move to the next question and it will give you more time. So again, this is we're not gonna stop here for longer. It's just another symbol, and what does it mean? Circle, same thing. Previously identified CPT code. So that means that we recycle this code. We had this code before and it meant something else. Now it's different. So again, if you've ever used that code in your practice and you see that it's a recycle or revised code or change the actual code, you need to make sure that in your software you eliminate that code. so it doesn't use it, or if you're gonna use it, you use it for whatever the new one is. Appendix, all the way from A to T. Appendix A for modifiers, so the modifiers are gonna be in behind the cover under the symbols. So if you open your book on the first page, on the behind the that first hardcover, you're gonna have the symbols, and under you're gonna have all the modifiers. So again, modifiers are gonna be kind of like the symbols. They're gonna ask you, what is a modifier? Or they're gonna ask you, modifier, let's pick one real quick, 66. What is modifier 66? And then you go through your list and you go 66, whatever it says there. Okay? You need to know that they are there. Okay? The modifiers are gonna be there, and they're gonna be also in the appendix at the end with all the explanations of what each one is. But for the most part, you just need to know what they mean. And then you have two types of modifiers. You have modifiers that are numeric, and then you have modifiers that are going to be alphanumeric. So the numerics are going to be the ones that have to do with the procedures and stuff like that. And the alphanumeric are more anatomic. So examples of them coming in a little bit. Appendix B for addition, deletions, and revisions. So whenever you get for example, your book, if you go to Appendix B, it's gonna tell you all the new things for this 2023 version of your book. Next year, there's gonna be the same thing, but you don't need a new book. What you're gonna do is get only, you're gonna get an email, CMS, or whomever you use with all the additions, deletions, and revisions, okay? C, clinical examples for evaluation and management codes. Appendix D, as we talked already, add-on codes, exempt codes for 51, for 63, and all of those things are gonna be there. And we keep going all the way to T. So everything that you can imagine that you might need will be there. For you guys, at least for the exam, none of these things matter that much. Now, here, some people like to memorize this. I do not like to memorize things that don't help me. But the CPT are going to be divided into chapters or sections. So you should know. I've seen, I want to say, I haven't seen it in a while, but probably like 8 years ago, I had a student complain that they got a question on the exam that said how many sections on the CPT you have. So it was just how many sections, and the answer was 6. So but if not, you go through your index and it says what are the sections, and the sections are 6. They're gonna be evaluation, management, the 99s. So that's the only one that's gonna be out of sync. So everything else is gonna be in order. So the first codes are gonna be the 99 codes to whatever, let's say 200, even though it doesn't start there. Anesthesia is around 00, and then surgery from 1 to like the 6 or almost 7, something like that. Radiology around this 8 and 9 again, all the way to 99. So you don't need to memorize. You don't need to memorize any of those things. You just need to know that that's the order. The order is evaluation and management first, the 99 codes first, and then everything else in numeric order.
Where is that? You say it's somewhere in our book?
Say that again?
You say that is somewhere in our book?
What?
The 6 CPT section.
Yeah, in your, so you go to the book, anything in your book is, because all the sections are gonna be there. So what I'm saying is, if you have to, you go to the content section, and it's page Roman numeral 10, and it gives you the sections or the divisions. And if you start at evaluation and management, and you go all the way to medicine, and you count them, they should be 6.
are you using the purple book?
Say that again. Are
The
we're
purple
in the
book,
same? We're always in the same book. So far, we are in the CPT book.
CPT book.
We also have some tabs on the second page to mark the sections. Yes, and that's kind of convenient for the individuals that like to go above and beyond with the things. So you can take all those little stickers and mark the sections, and then what that what that does is that when you're going from one to the other one, from like the index back, you can say, "Oh, I need to go to the radiology." You could find them with the little tabs, uh, and just that helps. But remember, the main thing is that after the 99 codes on the evaluation and management, all of them are in numeric order, all of them. So if I say the code is 00, then you look for the 00 codes, and they're gonna be anesthesia. If it's a 99 code and it's on evaluation and management, it's gonna be at the end. And again, you'll see as we start practicing, you see what I mean. Wait, did I say that? No, I did not. So evaluation management, anesthesia, surgery, radiology, and imaging, pathology and lab, medicine. And then the last sections are gonna be category 2, 3, the appendix, and then the index. So this is where it gets funky. Okay. So when we're doing this, let me check real quick again who's here, who's not. Sorry about this. Christian. So here's what you're gonna find. You're gonna have what is called the section, subsection, and then heading, subheading, and then the actual category. So what do I mean by this? So what I'm saying is that let me see this. Okay. So what section are we? We are in surgery. Surgery is a big section. Surgery is the biggest section. So like when we say the sections or the chapters, then you say, well, the first section is evaluation management, second section is anesthesia, third section is surgery. So, but those sections are going to be divided into a subsection, and that subsection is anatomical. So in surgery, we are in surgery here. So surgery is a section, okay? And then the subsection is the anatomical area. So in this case, it's nervous system. What part of the nervous system? Well, we are the skull, meninges, and the brain. And then the category here is injection, for example. So an injection for the brain. Let's make it super simple. Okay? So that's how it's done. So look at this real quick, and we're gonna see it in a little bit. But this number is 36100. Then it says dash 36218. That dash means that is a range. That the numbers for the injection procedures for the cerebral angiography are gonna be from 36100 to 36218. The second one says if it's a ventriculography, it's gonna be two numbers only. It's separated by a comma. So 61026, 61120. So when we're looking in the index, if we get something like this, one code, 61055, that's it. That's a code. There's nothing else to look for. If you get something like this that has two codes separated by a comma, then you go like, okay, it's either this code or the other one. And if you have a range, it could be any of those codes, and that's how you get in trouble if you don't follow like just reading and checking. So let's show you how it works. This is a few examples. When you're looking for things, you're gonna look for either the anatomy, where is it in the body, knee, shoulder, brain, whatever it is, what the procedure is, excision, incision, a removal, whatever. It could be the condition, it could be a fracture, it could be a dislocation, it could be something like pregnancy. Description of what we are doing, cast, a strap, a splint, surgical approach. This is kind of complicated, but is it open? If it's closed? If it's um, laparoscopic? Like those words matter because they will help you get closer when you're following the index. So you should know this by now. 99201 as an example, we cannot use this code, but just so you know, 99201. Okay, you already know that that is outpatient or office. Okay, you know that that's a new patient because you know that 99 is an evaluation and management, 2 is outpatient doctor's office, 0 is new patient, and 1 is a level of care 1. What's interesting here is that they are doing a bunch of information here and telling you what the specialty is: anesthesiology, pain medication, or ophthalmology. None of those things matter. Okay, most of those things are distractors. For you, what matters is initial office visits. That's about it. Initial office visits. Initial office visits. Okay? So, with initial office visit, you already know all of this. 9920 something. And then you go through level of care based on the time, and then you put which one you're going to use. But all the rest of the information is not important for you guys. You can answer that question with those few words. I don't care what patient it is, male, female, age, I don't care about anything. Initial office visit, you know already that that's a 9920 something. How long did it took? And then you put 1 through 5. Yes or no? For my people that are thinking that this is complicated. It is, don't get me wrong. It's just, yes, there you go, thank you. Okay, so let's do a little bit of the what we call guidelines. At the beginning of each section, you're gonna have guidelines, and they're gonna tell you what it is. Like surgery is used for all physicians reporting their services. Know that that surgery has to be accompanied by anesthesia, and anesthesia has to be accompanied by surgery. And anytime you submit a claim for surgery, you have to give the pre-authorization if it's a major surgery, and the operative report for any type of surgery to send it to the insurance company. So again, sometimes, again, not for you guys now, but sometimes when you are doing a specific type of surgery or a new one, or you're billing for something, you need to make sure that all the information that you have, surgery of the skull base, so this is surgery of the head and the brain. What's important here, often require several surgeons or different surgical specialties. So this is one that's going to use modifiers for multiple doctors. Sometimes that information is not going to be there. So if that information is not there, then don't try to bill for 2 surgeons, for example. And again, you can do whatever you want. It's what's gonna get paid based on what's allowed. So we have codes that are what we call full standalone codes or intended or dependent um, codes. So this is how it goes. This code, sorry about that. This first code here, when we're looking at the book, okay, this is the what we call the standalone code, right? So the description is drainage of finger abscess. That's the description. The semicolon is there to specify that this is simple. That is 260.110. The next one, 260.1.1, says only complicated. Complicated what? Well, complicated drainage of a finger abscess. So when we're looking for codes, I always tell you go to the next one, to the one before and to the one after, and try to follow. So what do I mean? So if you were looking at the book will have 260.09, for example, then 10, then 11, then 12, 12. Again, they don't all have to be there, but so if I say drainage of an abscess of a finger, then 260.110. Because it's not saying simple or complicated, it's just saying drainage of a finger abscess, you go with simple. If it says complicated, then 260.11. Drainage of a finger abscess, complicated. So the what we call intended or one that is depending on the other one is when you see that. So what they're doing is not writing the whole thing again. It doesn't say drainage of the finger abscess simple and then it says drainage of the finger abscess complicated. So just to not put so much words, they do it like this. So you will see that a lot of times you're reading things, and we're gonna do one in a bunch of them in a little bit or a few of them, and you'll see how when you're reading them, the information goes down. If you go to the to 26012 and says drainage of or it says something completely different, then you know that that's not it. You go to the one before it, you know that that one's not it. Then you go to the ones that match the most, and you select whatever fits best. So just remember that the semicolon is going to divide the specific thing from the full description, and you have to go to the standalone code for full description. So when I say you go down, it's because as you go down, the numbers are getting higher. So sometimes the description gets smaller and smaller and smaller because it's just one or two words. But they have to go all the way back to the one on top. So that should make sense when we start practicing. CPT modifiers, 2 digits, numeric and alphanumeric. Numerics for things in the procedures, alphanumerics for anatomic area. Where do we find the modifiers and what do they mean? Anyone? Anyone wants to try? Where do we find the modifiers and what do they mean? If I ask you modifier 50.
In
Modifier 50. What is modifier 50? Who's talking?
on,
Christian?
on
Christian, what
the
is modifier 50?
under the symbol, no?
Okay. What is modifier 50? Go. What is modifier 50? Go. You have your book? Go. Open your book. Tell me, what is modifier 50?
50
Mm-hmm. 50.
bilateral procedure.
Bilateral procedure. Okay, what is modifier 91?
Repeat clinical diagnosis, laboratory test.
What is 99?
Multiple modifiers.
What is T6?
You said
It's a,
T6?
a declared brain dead patient.
No. Wait,
No.
what?
What?
Bilateral
Right,
Oh,
T6.
sorry, sorry,
right
but it's
foot, second digit.
T6. Why are you
TC,
killing people?
right,
Don't kill people with this.
right foot, second digit, no?
Second digit. Your second finger. Your second finger. Your second digit. Your second toe of your right foot. Okay. That's how it is. Okay. Mm, so that that's it. You can have modifiers, and they're not going to ask you a lot more than that, other than what they are. Okay, they put a number there, and you have to figure out what that is. Simple, yes.
Yes.
For the people that are scared, getting less scared, or is it getting worse? I don't know. Okay,
I
so
mean,
modifiers.
this part is easy, you know.
Yes. This is it's everything will get to. The first code that we're gonna look for is gonna take 10 minutes. The second one is gonna take like a minute, and then less than that every other code. You'll see. At the beginning of this class, even though we said it many times, you didn't know how to get those modifiers so fast that I just spew like three of them back to back, and all of you could find it. So symbols the same way. So you'll see. We're
Mm.
getting there. We're getting there. There's again, this is the example of some modifiers. Uh, all modifiers are used on CPT or HICPIC, so it depends on which one it is. We have them for specific things, like I said. You don't need to memorize all of them. There's plenty. Just make sure that you know where to find them. Perfect example here. We have surgery, gastroduodenostomy. So it's an opening in between the stomach and the jejunum. And for that surgery, we need two surgeons because it requires two surgeons. We use modifier 62. And modifier 62, you should go to your book and it says two surgeons.
Two surgeons.
So it's not that one surgeon did it and the other one was hanging. Let's. I'll be there with you just in case. No. Both of them were working. Both of them were doing. So two surgeons. Now for that and many other modifiers that you're going to use or many other surgeries, you will need documentation that proves medical necessity, that proves that you have two surgeons, and that proves that you needed two surgeons. Where do they go? Well, they go here, okay, in this little section here. So there you go. So the CPT goes here, so 24D, the CPT, and then the modifier here. Let me see if I can. What was it? 43820. So here, here, 43820 modifier 62. How many modifiers can be added? Excellent question. You tell me. How many do we have? How many options do we have? We have four little squares. So up to four.
Is it six?
Four.
Oh, four.
Six? Where are you seeing six? Is the thing have six? Let me see. Does it have six?
No, I was counting down.
Oh, okay. I'm like, don't tell me that's six. Yeah, four. And then when you have multiple modifiers, you might have a modifier for that. It's modifier 99, if I'm not mistaken. If you go to modifier 99 in your book, it says multiple modifiers. So you might require a 99 as a modifier for multiple modifiers. You might need multiple modifiers, not many times, but sometimes. So technically, you get 3 plus the 99. But again, what I like about this is that is when date of service, where place of service, what was done, what modifiers, and after this, charges, money goes here. Okay. Now, if after all of this codes, all of that beautiful, gigantic book with a bunch of codes, you do not have a specific code or a more specific code, then you need what is called a special report. So you will see that in codes for CPT, not that much for CPT, but for ICD, we have a bunch of codes that end in 9 or in 99. And perfect example for this is that if you have to use one of those that says 99, it might not get paid. Okay, let's say you have a fracture wrist. The patient has a fractured wrist. The next question will be, which one, left or right? So let's say I use the code for fractures. So let's say fracture is on the M. So M, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last one is 1 for, let's say, left, and the same thing, 2 for right. The next code will be that, but a 9. And that means unspecified. So unspecified wrist means that you don't know which wrist is broken. So when you're doing the surgery, it doesn't tell me if you did it in the left or the right. And that's not possible. So those codes are not billable. Okay? Those codes you cannot use. You have to be specific. Because there's more codes in the ICD, so it's a little bit easier to do. But in the CPT, we have less codes, so you might, not very common, but you might end up with a code that ends in 99, and it will be that it means that it's not specific enough. So that's what you have to do. So you will have to do it with a special report. The special report has a bunch of things attached to it, or things that you have to complete. Again, this is more for real life, not for the exam. So just know that exists. So I was saying that the codes start in 0000. Actually, they don't. They start at 00100. And I said that they ended in around 99999. They don't. They end in 99607. So there's a few from like to get to this number. There's a few of them. There's 100 of them here, just in case. So that's about it. Every time we add codes or we eliminate codes, we need to reuse them because again, like I said, we have a finite number of codes. So if we every year do 300 or 400 of them, in a couple of years we won't have any. So just know that that's it. That's the range of codes that you have, and that's a lot of codes if you kind of think about it. But again, not all of them have a code, but we have room for expansion. I like to use that word a lot. And like I said here, they are approved by the American Medical Association and the Food and Drug Administration. Really important. They are proven clinical effectiveness and efficacy. Category 2 of the level 1 codes are going to be for performance measurements. They have a letter, so they are alphanumeric. They're not numeric anymore. So they are alphanumeric, and that letter is at the end. So if you see a code that has 5 digits and the last digit is a letter, you know that is a category 2 CPT code. If that letter will be in the first digit, that will be a HCPCS code. If it has no letters, CPT category 1 code. Category 3 are new codes or temporary codes or new technology codes. They're going to be there for 5 years. Um, they're located after the medicine section. They're alphanumeric also. They could become uh, category 1 or 2. Not 2 because it's emergency technology for the procedure. So category 1, so they can change from an alphanumeric to a numeric, and they could be put into the regular category 1 list. So they're there for 5 years. If we after a couple of years we don't use them anymore, or they're not used, we eliminate them. If it comes to be a thing that is gonna stay, then they're gonna go to those category ones. So just you need to know that if it has a letter and it's a CPT code, it's gonna be either category 2, 3, or a HICPICS if it's in the front. So they are used instead of using an unlisted code. So if you have category 3 code, then you're gonna use it instead of an unlisted. If you have an unlisted, it's because you do not have a category 3 code. And perfect example will be when the pandemic hit. We did not have a code for uh, this new vaccine, for example. Uh, so November came, we printed out the book. By January 2020, COVID was going crazy. By March, we closed the world, and by December of that year, we were vaccinating people. So that was made during that time. So it was not uh, in some of the things were not listed, or the ones that were listed were only having a category 3 code. So again, all of those things can happen. I've never had an example, so palpable example for you guys. I've been doing this for a while, and I always, will make an example of like cure for cancer or something that was not legit. It was just a weird example from my mind. This is an actual example of something that actually happened. So, and everybody was a part of it. So it's something that you can remember. Category 3, something happens in the middle of the year. We're not gonna wait until next year to use it, to do it, and to get paid. No, we're gonna use it. We have those codes. So for that now, the special reports will require a bunch of information, the nature of why we were doing it, the extent of what we did, the necessary medical necessity for it, the time it took, the effort, the equipment, pictures, journal articles that are gonna be supplemental to what we do it, uh, a video of the surgery or the procedure, like anything that can um, make sure that that gets paid. Because again, it's not what everybody does, uh, and it's not even in the book. So if it's something new and it works, then why not? Now this part, index with exclamation point. The index is your best friend. I'm gonna say it again. Your index at the end of the book, the last pages of your book, that is your best friend. Why? Because it's the one that is the one that is gonna make you get the code fast, or at least get to the code fast. You can always say, "Oh, it's surgery. I will go through surgery. I will check where it is. I will go and I look through the 70,000 codes that are on surgery, and I'll find it." No. What you're gonna do is go through the index, locate the procedure, locate the words, the important words. It will give you a number. That number is the reference number in the actual CPT section. So you get the question, you take out the numbers that are the names or the words that are important, find them in the index, follow that code back to the or range of codes or codes, could be one code, follow it to the book, read the description, it match, that's the code, select it, and move on. It is like a dictionary. It's going to be in alphabetical order. So the book is mostly in numerical order. We start with the 99 two zero zeros for the evaluation and measurement. When those finish, all of them from there on, including those 99. So the first one will be 99201. The second one will be 99202, and that's how we move down. When we get to the 99211, the next one will be 1 2. The next one will be 1 3, and that's how we move to the book. When we get to the zero zeros, to the anesthesia, there from there on, everyone will start going up. The zero zeros, the one ones, the two, the three threes, and all the way to the 99s again. But the index is in alphabetical order, so you will look at the index like a dictionary. When you go at a dictionary, in the page, in the top of the page, we'll have the first entry, and in the other side, actually, let me show you the example. It will have the last entry. So here in the let's say this is the top of the page. Here we'll say this is the first code that we have, or the first term that we have, and this is the last one at the bottom of the page. Okay, so this is the top of the page. So repair of the iris. Here, how did we repair? Through suture, with capillary, with ciliary body. The last entry, repair of a toe. What? The muscle, and that's the last one. Now you take, let's say you have a suture of the iris. Okay, so you go here, iris suture. This is your code. That's your code. Now with ciliary body, then you have two codes. How do I know there's two codes? Because they're separated by a comma. If they were separated by this is right. How's that thing called? The hyphenated. If they were hyphenated, that means that there's a range between this one and this one, all the codes in between, or any of those codes in between. Okay, so there you go, hyphen, that's what I'm looking for. If you find a code, find a term, and the term says that's the code, people, that's a code, it's nothing else. Go to the section, go to 38115, read what it is. If it matches what the question is asking, perfect. It should. Sometimes you get a code, you get a term, and it will tell you something like this: 26645, comma 26650. So that means that it's either this one or this one.
So,
So
Professor,
go ahead.
maybe I need a little help on the index because I'm not seeing the presentation codes and index.
You're not seeing what?
I'm not seeing the presentation of codes. I'm just trying to follow with the numbers. Maybe I'm on the wrong pages. I'm in the back of the book.
Uh-huh. What what do you mean presentation of codes? Go to
No,
page
the index itself.
go to page, I don't know, 1138. That I have it open here. 1138. Find something interesting. Right? Oh, glaucoma. 1138. Are you in page 1138?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So go to where it says glaucoma. In the middle of the page, glaucoma.
Okay, I was already in the index. I guess maybe I was not in the right letter because I was lost. Okay.
That's okay, that's okay. So let's see. Let's look for uh let's say glaucoma cryotherapy for glaucoma. So you go
Which one?
glaucoma. Glaucoma is the first one. The second one says under glaucoma says counseling. The next one says cryo. Right? For cryo, it's 66720. This is an example like the first one. It's a single code. So cryotherapy for glaucoma is 66720. But if you go to the next one, it says cyclophotocoagulation, says 66710, 66711. So that means that it could be any of those two codes. So what you will do is go now from the index and you look for that number in the book. And again, I don't know if anyone is following. I hope you are. Just as an example, we are in page 1138. We look for glaucoma, and then we
Six
have.
six seven 20 is on page 496.
There you go. So let's say that's a one. You say for what? Anyway, don't say the
490.
rest of the page. Blah, 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 blah. Don't say it again. Don't say it again. Let them look for
Also,
it.
sorry.
So look for that number. Look for 66720. So now you go through your book, and again you could uh, this a few tricks. What is it? 66720. Okay, so if you take your book, please, you take your books like this. Okay, let me see like this, and you flip through the pages like this. In you look, they are divided by colors, and they also have little numbers. So
Mm-hmm.
if you go like this, look, it says what the numbers are. The numbers are on that page. So we're looking for, help me again, 66 what? 66720. So you're looking for 66720. So you start flipping pages until you get to the six something. You get to the six six. I'm not going crazy, right? 66720. I lost my page already.
Yeah, 667.
Okay, 66720. So let's go to 66. And 66720 should read whatever we were looking for.
66720.
What does it say?
Cryotherapy.
Cryotherapy?
Cryo. Okay? But cryo is what?
Cryotherapy.
What is what? Cryo is destruction. If you go up, it says destruction. And if you go one page back, it says iris or ciliary volume. So you go like, wait, but that's not what we were looking for, right? Or at least not what it was saying. But that is
Mm-hmm.
that is the code for it. If I want you to start doing that, maybe the whole thing is more specific than what you were looking for. So if you know something like a heart attack, or you know something as glaucoma, or whatever it is, the actual code will be there, even though if you do, even though it's not exactly what you were looking for. So that's why the index is gonna take you to the code, to the number. If you go by glaucoma, for example, and you start looking under surgery and eye, there's no way that you're gonna get to it. So you always look in the index first. And the example of cryo said only one code, so that means that that's the code. You go read it. It has to match whatever the exam gave you, and that's the answer. If it has multiple codes, like the other ones that I can't remember what they were now.
Cyclophotocoagulation?
Okay, there you go. Look at you. So
Pastor,
it's right there. It's right there.
there's many codes for the glaucoma.
But for
Correct.
that particular one, we have two, like the
But there's
cyclo
only
thing.
correct. So for the under glaucoma, we selected cryo, for example, and it was a code. And the next one after that was the, let's say it again, cyclophotocoagulation. We have two codes. The 10, the
7,
66710 and 66711.
7, 11.
Okay, and one it says that it's transscleral, and the other one is endoscopic without whatever. So think about that. If in the exam, it will tell you exactly that. For example, uh, uh, what was the first one?
667.
667, 66,
20.
720. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so it will say uh, destruction of ciliary body because of glaucoma, for example. Look, glaucoma, cryo, that will be the one. It's a lot simpler than what you guys are thinking. But let's do it simpler. Out of this almost 100,000 codes that we have, you got one or two to select from. 15 at the most. So you are looking for the code in the back, looking for the words in the back, getting a code, and going and checking that that code matches what you're looking for. We
So
are going. Say, go ahead.
just to make sure I understand. So okay, so when we go to glaucoma, we see the two, the 66720,
Hmm.
and the other one was a 66711, right? So we go
Correct.
back at the page and we find it. What do we do with it?
Well, remember, you are looking for it from a question. So it has to match your question.
Is
No?
that going to be like a multiple choice question, like a true or false, or just different A, B,
No,
C, D?
in this case, it's for you to put the code. So now you have a little box, and you have to put the code. You have to type the code in. Sometimes it's true or false. Multiple choice, but for the most part, is selecting the codes. We did some. I was the other day. I did some with Christian. I'm gonna do it with you guys too. You'll see. It will make a lot more sense when we finish this. Let me finish this and go to the practice because I think what you want is practice. Here, before we move. So if you get single code, it's one code. This is separated by a comma, means that there's those two codes. But if you have something hyphenated like this, it means that any code that is in between 22310 and 22325 could be an option. Okay? So then you go and read the description and see what matches what you have. So many things are gonna have different description, different ways to write it, service procedures, atomic size, conditions, abbreviations. So the good thing, and this is why we were doing this way. If you look in the index, anything will be there. So something like ECG will say, okay, look for electrocardiogram or whatever. So what it's saying is, what I'm saying is that the information in the index is going to be in plain words, and then the specifics are going to be in the description of the code. Always go with the index first, locate the code in the main portion of the CPT, and then read the description. And the last one will be select the code. Okay, so you go through the index, you get a code get the words in the index, get the code, check the code in the main portion, read the description, select your code. Sometimes when you are looking for a turn, it will say C or go somewhere else. For example, if you go to STEM, this is a perfect example. STEM, brain. Okay, you can find that in the index, and it will tell you C, brain stem. And you might say, well, that's the same thing. Yeah, but look, you are in the S because you're looking for STEM, and it tells you to go to brainstem that
We have
starts
to
with
find
H.
both words.
Oh no, it could be. So for example, if you are looking for brainstem, then you're looking in the B and you find brainstem and that's it. But if you're looking for stem first, and then you find stem and brain, it will tell you no, you're in the wrong side. Go to brainstem. So even if you are getting it wrong, it will tell you where to go. So remember the one that we saw at the beginning. See, this is last slide? I think it is. Yeah. Let me go. Let me go back real quick to the one that scared you guys.
So does it matter which one we look first?
It doesn't matter. But well, it matters a little bit.
It
Uh,
depends on what it says, right?
correct, correct, of course.
But
So, so if it says electrocardiogram,
you
if
look
you
up
start with gram,
electrocardiogram.
if you start with gram, then you're gonna have a problem because a lot of things are gram. Okay. Uh,
But
if you
cardio means heart, so you can look up cardio, no?
if you look for cardio, then there's a lot of things in cardio. Electro is not a lot of things that are with electro. So that's kind of yeah, you need to know a little bit of where you're or how to look for things fast. There you go. This one. This is a perfect example. How would you get this code? How would you how would you look for this code? Again, the example that
I I find renal, no?
I've lost it. Mike.
So will we start with this?
I know that's not what you told you. Hopefully not all of you. How would you look for the code?
Will we start with this?
Yeah. So the renal
Renal is kidney.
correct. So that's a lot. You do renal, you do kidney, and or you can do endoscopy. You pick whatever you want. Okay. So how would you do it? How would be the best how would you do it?
Renal.
Okay. Renal what? So you do renal. Now can you start renal? But if it says single renal, what would it tell you to do? Yeah. What else? Endoscopy. What else do you do? What are the words that we have?
Endoscopy, no?
Endoscopy. Yeah, you can do endoscopy or you can do renal, right?
Yeah, but in this case, I can find the endoscopy.
You cannot find endoscopy?
No, renal endoscopy, no.
No, endoscopy.
Oh yeah, yeah, I got it, I got it, I got it.
Now go to endoscopy and now go down and find okay, this is an example of whenever you do two things, or you have two things, you're gonna look for both words. You have to want to both words. Say that again. No, no, you got it. So endoscopy.
I find endoscopy, but it's in renal calculus.
Okay, but in the chart, when you're going to endoscopy, what do you have
Oh,
in the chart?
Renal.
Okay. What else do you see in renal? Okay. So, do you find any of those? No?
no.
What do you mean? Keep looking at it.
Kidney.
Okay, so now what you do? So look in the picture, okay? Look for endoscopy. That's blue each section, okay? And now start using endoscopy. Enter.
Kidney? No. Kidney, no? Page 402. Yeah. Or we, the same word. Well, retro. Five oh five seven five. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. For The example, no? Yeah, yeah. No. It's D for me. Yeah. Because in the page 1251, I can find a swan gun scatter insertion. Yeah. I going for, yeah. Mm-hmm. ultrasound. Ultrasound, yeah. Yeah. The, it's per bit, the difference. Yeah. Dime, niño, ¿qué hay? Espérate, te llamo ahora, estoy en un curso. Te llamo unos minuticos de se está acabando.
This is it. Yeah, this is the long way. Oh my god. Oh, she got everything set up now.